What up, Dragon Family? Episode 3. What's today? March 15th. So we're halfway through the third month of the year, and we are making waves. I feel that we are onto something big. Like I said, this whole Wayward Wizard thing, I think that's what the ball is going to start rolling, for sure. And I think it was yesterday I said I would talk more about it. So, the literal definition of wayward. Uh, so it all started when I wanted to make a website. I was fucking. It took me a long time to kind of think of a title or something to really kind of illustrate what I was after. So wayward came up as a word to describe my not my personality, but I guess my personality. That's fair to say. And the definition is, golly, excuse me, right off the top of my head, it was difficult to control based on unusual behavior or something like that. And yeah, that's pretty much me. And then the wizard part kind of came later as my trail running kind of took off. And like last year, it was basically my first year as a trail runner last year, and I completed a 100-mile event. So to be able to train up for something like that in such a short time, I think is pretty magical. And it was I think it was Sophie who first kind of coined the term trail wizard type of thing. So and I'm a big Lord of the Rings fan, nerd, call it what you will. So yeah, I think that's a pretty accurate description of what I'd like to embody is a wayward wizard kind of doing his own thing. And Gandalf likes to say that a wizard is never early or late. He arrives precisely when he's meant to. And that's exactly where I kind of where I'm at with life, and not wishing that I felt like this sooner, or wishing that it began sooner, or just being grateful for the process. Like every step along the way adds up to something greater. And it's like I think it was Confucius who said, "Every journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step," and not only starts with one step, but it is a series of consequent steps, consecutive steps. I meant to say, in sequence. So like you can't skip from step one to step 1,000. You have to do them all in order. So everything's a process, and once like ultra marathons have become such a fantastic metaphor for life in general, and I think that's kind of along the same vein as ancient like philosophy. Even I'm a big Stoicism fan, a big fan of Shaolin teachings, of Taoism. Just this wisdom that's been developed over thousands and thousands of years. And as a Western society, we kind of shun it a little bit. We kind of self medicate and just focus in on these material means of escape, or means of coping with things we don't understand, like fear of failure and fear of judgment, and that sort of thing. We kind of self medicate it through what, and that's not even like substances. It could be through materialism, or addictions to even thought processes like unhealthy social relationships or romantic relationships, or anything that is a form of escape, of kind of rationalizing. It's a real victim mentality, a mentality of self sabotage, whether it's like intentional or not. I think that's what our culture is kind of geared towards. And yeah, I think Wayward Wizard is kind of the embodiment of transcending, word of the year, transcending that whole um no, I don't want to start generalizing here. It's transcending my own personal beliefs and misbeliefs in myself. Growing up, I felt very, very insecure. I still kind of wrestle with it. I notice sometimes I do compare myself. Um, and like the most important thing is to be comfortable speaking about it. It doesn't make me inferior at all. I think true strength is coming from being able to acknowledge and express those unpleasant thoughts or feelings. So, um, like I get, there's probably people out there that think I'm, uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Think I'm a snowflake. So that's kind of what I embody. I like to play on words a lot, and I tell people to stay soft. Um, there's a lot of Goggins fans out there that kind of take it to the extreme. But I'm a big fan as well. I think everybody along my path has something to offer. And not one person's going to offer everything. So um, yeah, take a bit of knowledge from each of these influences, as you will, and just take the best parts and incorporate them into your own sphere of influence. Like you can only control what happens in your own sphere, your own thoughts, and your own especially your reactions. Like um golly, I forget who said it, but you can't control your circumstances, but you can control your reactions to the circumstances. So once you can look inward like that, I think that's the real power. That's where our power lies. And like once you awaken that awareness, then the dragon starts kind of waking up. And if you can find a way, it doesn't have to be running or like setting a goal to run 100 miles like I did or whatever, but find an equivalent, something that you're willing to keep pushing, and the progress is measurable and sustainable in the sense that it's healthy. You remain objective and humble. You approach these lessons in life with humility and the integrity to uh just kind of be influenced by the lessons of life rather than try to fight it or resist it in any way. Just allow it to happen. It's a lot like watching clouds above the sky. Like you're not trying to fucking catch them or something. You're just kind of watching them pass and observing. And if they look like something, then that's like a moment of being like, oh wow, that looks like a dragon or something. But and that's a lot like to do with life, like those little realization moments. There's no big jumps. There's no big breakthroughs are going to happen. Um, like life is not one of those movies where there's only 3 hours to tell a story, and the main character kind of wakes up one day and is like, oh wow, I feel so different. Or, you know what I mean? It's not the fucking Truman Show. So you got to wake up every day wanting to improve just a little bit more and taking small steps. Taking small steps. Um, like I'll use running as another example, but if you can't run, then just get out and start walking. Make walking a regular habit, and then maybe start running for maybe like a small fraction of it. You'll gradually increase the running time and decrease the walking time, but that's exactly how you start to form a new habit. And that's how you replace a bad habit. Honestly, like when I quit smoking, the biggest thing that you're not going to be aware of is the amount of time that you don't gain it back, obviously, because you're spending that time smoking away, but uh realizing how much time you've spent um kind of hiding, kind of yeah, and it's a beautiful realization, but at the same time it can kind of work against you if you're not willing to fill that time with something healthy. And today, like, there's so many avenues to go down, so many rabbit holes. Like even social media. If you're, it depends what you're using it for, but if you're using it for validation of like who you feel you are as a person, then that's not healthy, and that goes with anything at all, like alcohol or smoking, or like if you identify with one of these habits, then it may be time to step back. And even running, I find running is easy to let the ego take over. So yeah, remain humble in all things and realize that you never know everything, and that everybody has started from everybody had a step one. Everybody had a day one. Nobody's going to be a master at anything. There's always something more to learn, or to there's always room to grow. And once you reach a certain level, then there's another level to reach. Like there's no fucking finish line to anything at all. And I feel that a lot of people uh like it's one thing to not appreciate time, but when once you start to think about all the accidents that could happen, like knock on wood, something bad could happen tomorrow and my life would be turned upside down, or heaven forbid, like a drunk driver. I hate to fucking even mention it, but like accidents do happen all the time. There's no telling, um, and it's like no fault of mine, but like just anything can happen. And if you're not making the most of every moment, then that's kind of a waste, and it's almost disrespectful to your ancestors that have come before you, because nobody just appears out of thin air. There's obviously going to be parents and grandparents and great grandparents, and then their parents and then their parents. Like how far back does it go? Like it's incredible to think about. And what if this line of what if this lineage is up somewhere, or even down here, and we just can't perceive them because we can only perceive a small width of light. So it's like radio waves. We can't see radio waves, but they're obviously there because our phones work, our radios work, and our Wi-Fi works. So um, yeah, once you can start appreciating that there is more than we can perceive, especially with regards to time. Um, like time is such a mortal thing. It's how we measure the passing of moments, but like essentially time came about as far like it's crazy to think about. Like we didn't always have watches or clocks or anything. So like when people got up to work, it was more or less a matter of survival or of uh of life, essentially. Like people did what they wanted to do, obviously to support families and stuff like that. But even then, like money wasn't really a thing until like gold, and it's getting down a bit of a rabbit hole here, but you can start to kind of see how our culture is built off of these very um mortal standard of measuring things, of breaking things down um into concepts that are easily digestible and almost uh entrapping in a way that it limits our imagination, it limits our potential for spiritual growth, essentially. So if again, the word transcend keeps coming up, but that's exactly what I'm getting at here, is if you can transcend these mortal boundaries, these mortal kind of constructs of time and perception, then I think that's where the real breakthroughs happen, is once you can detach yourself um from the materialism that surrounds us, from the ego that limits us. That's where we can all kind of come together on a different plane of existence, and really begin to help each other, really begin to kind of grow, and fucking really make a difference. Yeah. Once we can kind of do away with the materialism and substances and really all look inward, I think that's such a beautiful concept. Um, and like even then, like you can only look inward for so long. Like you're going to need to project love to the world. Find people to uh, reciprocate that feeling of love and acceptance and understanding, most of all, and just try to limit the judgments of criticism. Um, yeah, outwardly and inwardly, just kind of just be patient with all things, I guess, and realize that everybody's on a journey. Everybody has their own path to walk, and nobody's necessarily even going to understand yours. But it's important to keep taking your steps. Take this step by step, and yeah, complete your figurative or literal ultra marathon of life, and really just end up somewhere where you didn't think was possible when you maybe started. Like there's no telling. Um, like a seemingly small step today could turn out to be something great in a year or 5 years or 10 years down the road. So be willing to invest the small amount of time into taking those small steps and fucking do something great. Like I feel that that's exactly what I'm doing, and it's one thing to kind of make uh what am I trying to say? It's one thing to kind of talk about it, but and it's tough for me to talk about, honestly. Like I hate talking about myself, even to myself, to these videos, but to really kind of get over my own bullshit and to realize that maybe I can be of value to the world and to believe that I can make a difference. Because the feedback really drives me. The messages and the well wishes and just the positivity that is being generated, it far outweighs the potential negativity or being judged or whatever. Like I just don't give a fuck. The positives always, love will always conquer fear. I think is the fucking moral of this story. Um, but yeah, Wayward Wizard. I think that's what we're all about. I don't know what kind of tangent I went on tonight, but I hope it all made sense. I'm going to cut this video a little short at 18 minutes. Wow, that's a short one. But I think I covered enough for today. Um, yeah, I ran with my trail group today for the first time in a few weeks now. It was good to see everybody. Good to reconnect. But like I said, I'm walking my own path. I have a very clear vision of what I want from myself, and that's exactly where I'm at. Um, so I'm surrounded with great people, surrounded with love, and onward I go. Boldly onward we go, right? So yeah, the dragon's awake, wayward wizard. Watch out for that. Like, I don't know what the fuck shape that's going to come in, but I've been playing with it, been playing with it, been playing with it. I need to get back to writing and my website and everything. I wish I could figure out a way to attach a link to these, but um, whatever. Look me up on Instagram. I think that's somewhere. Wayward 902 on Instagram. If you don't follow me already, I'm sure you do. But anyways, all right, I'm out. It's not too late, so I'm gonna go to bed kind of early tonight. Peace, love, and clarity. Feed the dragon. Stay wayward, my friends.